Namaskar and a very good morning. Welcome to the audio guys from Kotak Securities. I'm your host and guide, Anindya Bannerjee. Our Asian equity markets are trading slightly in the red. Our dollar index is slightly higher. Asian currencies are trading weaker. So overall, it's a risk-off mood in Asia. Not significant, but slightly risk-off. Our central bank day hai or pehla hai Bank of Japan. They will start talking by the time we start trading. And then in the evening is the European Central Bank or European Central Bank is expected to announce something. Bank of Japan is not. So out of the two, the most eventful is supposed to be the ECB. The least eventful is supposed to be the Bank of Japan. But because Bank of Japan is not expected to announce any kind of a tightening measure, so if they do announce any kind of tightening measure, the impact will be far more severe than what will be from the European Central Bank. Because market is not anticipating anything from the Bank of Japan or BOJ. So yes, BOJ is a non-event, but we need to keep an eye what they come out with. Now coming to the ECB, ECB is expected to hike rates. The question is how much? 25 ya 50? Market seems to be pricing now of 50 bips. So if ECB does a 50 bips, it will be slightly positive for the euro. Why I'm saying slightly? Because it's getting priced in. और उसके साथ market would want to know what's the path ahead. ऐसा नहीं कि 50 करके then it's back to 25. So market, the most hawkish outcome can be if they do 50 bips and then they say that they will do 50 or more in the September and the upcoming meetings. And at the same time, they talk up the risk of inflation and talk down the risk on growth. So basically they have to show much more concern over inflation and much less concern over growth. Hike by 50, hint that 50 is going to also happen in September. At the same time, the focus will also be on something known as anti-fragmentation tool. ये anti-fragmentation tool क्या है? Basically, Eurozone में जो various countries का bonds है, their yields are diverging from each other because जो peripheral countries are, जो smaller या weaker economies है, for example, Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, etc. Their bond yields are rising क्योंकि वहाँ पे the debt levels are far higher than what is there in France or Germany. So इसके लिए what's happening is, and plus at the same time, inflation levels are also divergent. So this whole hawkish talk from the ECB is hurting the peripheral countries far more, and their yields are rising far more than what's happening with France or Germany. So this is what they are terming as fragmentation in the Eurozone bond market. So in order to address that, ECB ने एक just wishy-washy एक propose किया था that they may come out with a plan whereby they will sell the bonds of the core countries and buy the bonds of the peripheral countries. Typical convergence trade. So we have to see what comes out in that plan, how big is that program, and what are the conditionalities that are attached to it. But as I said, hawkish policy agar hai, so it should be higher rates, concern over inflation, less concern over growth. Dovish will be if they do a 25 bips and they basically talk down inflation risks over the medium term and express a lot of concern over growth. In a case of a dovish policy, Euro USD and Euro INR could be under pressure. In case of a very hawkish policy, both can move up due to short covering. Now coming to the dollar rupee showing a lot of resilience over the past few days. That in spite of the up move in the global equity markets, and also in the dollar index, the down move in the dollar index, dollar rupee has continued to push higher towards the 80 mark on the spot. और अभी भी आज भी offshore में it's trading around 80. So there is a possibility that if the dollar index begins to rise after the ECB because of, let's say, a not so hawkish take from the European Central Bank, then what's going to happen is that dollar rupee can actually take off pretty fast and towards the 80-30 or 80-50 levels. But yes, RBI is going to be there every step of the way, and they will try to contain the volatility. But last 3 to 4 trading sessions, Indian rupee has become an underperformer. and that's something we need to watch out for, because ये साल इतना continuous underperformance has not been seen from the rupee. So this is something which we need to watch, because if it continues, it can show a change of behavior. So how to trade? The trade is simple. It's a buy on dips. 79.70, 79.80 is a very strong layer of support. Uske pehle there is a minor support around 79.90 levels. 80.20 and then 80.40.50 are the resistances. But as I said, it's better to buy on dips than to chase momentum, because at every high level we expect RBI to step in aggressively. So wait for a dip and then enter longs. You can use options or you can use futures, but your stop loss has to be below 79.70 on a daily closing basis. Now on the crosses, EURINR should ideally be ranged ahead of the ECB. EURINR पे impact आएगा कल. It's going to happen with a gap. GBP INR may continue to be range bound but quite highly volatile. क्योंकि कल जो UK inflation था, it was at a 40-year high. Now the focus will be on the retail sales and the flash PMIs, because high inflation is actually causing a cost of living crisis in UK, and that's basically slowing their economy. So the market would like to see how bigger impact has this spike in inflation has had on the consumer spending through retail sales, and then on the flash PMI, that is at the business level. So that's it, folks. This is Anindya Bannerjee signing off. A fantastic day.